little sunnier this time around for this video. We're in Malta on holidays, and I'm going to do a little compilation of walled cities, forts, fortificated buildings, you know, just 2 or 3, because they're so impressive in so many ways. And hey, the sun looks nice in the videos as well, doesn't it? These are the walls of a city called Medina, a walled city. It was first established, incredibly, in the 8th century BC. It's beautiful, it's Baroque design. I think it was first established in the 8th century BC as a city called Ann, as an A-N-N, and then the 11th century it was renamed Medina, and it steadily got built up to what it is today. And if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, this entire city was used many times as a location for King's Landing, but there is a famous scene when they're entering the city through this gate. I'll show you now. I love the way all the buildings in Malta have this sandy colour, because I suspect they're all made of sandstone, which is exactly what the entire island's made of. I'm trying to get shots without people in it, but bloody people have infested this planet. Not including me, obviously. But hey, what can I do? I'll do my best, promise. Now, I don't want to do any spoilers, right? I love doing these stupid things. Do you remember the finale of Game of Thrones? Run! See, I didn't give it away, but if you know, you know. Ah! It's a beautiful place. And a lovely thing about this place is that you can find streets that are completely empty. Around the gate, there's a hell of a lot of people, obviously. But look at this. And I'll tell you something else. It's quite large. It reminds me of Dubrovnik, but the colour of the city is different. But there's only 242 people live in this city. And I think it was about 1/3 of them were foreign nationals. I think it was 120 men and 122 women. So it's well regulated, although we have 2 single women. But it's very peaceful. I can just hear some locals. That's about it. You see in the distance there, look. There's Amy, look, hiding away. She's the best. She puts up with so much of my rubbish. Quick check for dragons. This wall is about. It's warm, but you're in the shade. And it's peaceful and it's nice. These structures and locations fascinate me. I find them so impressive for many reasons, but that's not really a surprise, is it? They're built to be impressive. They're built to dominate a bay or to be the biggest thing in the landscape, whether that be a fort in a valley or a tall castle in Ireland or a citadel on a mountain. They are as much political statements as they are defensive structures. And for me at least, their magic is still powerful. No matter who built them, or when or where, they all have something in common. And I love this. It's clean, it's geometry. When seen from above, you will see a plan. No matter what's inside the walls, you'll see a plan on the walls. And the plan will be that this cannot be approached without somebody seeing the enemy. There is no weak points in the wall, and if there is a weak point, it's covered by a strong point. And this is best seen from above, so I'm going to add photographs in of these structures from above, which wasn't available when they were built, obviously. But yeah, I find them fascinating. I hope you get something out of this. I'm up in the city walls here. Again, hold on to your britches. Another hold on to your britches moment when you see these for views. And this is, of course, proper fortified walls, not decorative walls. Look at this. Even today, approaching this thing by land will be a formidable task. I respect that. Apart from the hum of tourists, that was a lovely place. Truly beautiful. Medina has like a mood all of its own. It's also known aptly as the Silent City because it's enclosed by a wall. Anyway, enjoyed that. I hope you did a little bit. On to the next one. Hey, today I'm in Valletta, the modern capital of Malta, at a fort called St. Elmo's. It's on a peninsula sticking out into the bay. It's a very impressive place. It's here since the 14th century, but was made famous in 1556 at the Great Siege of Malta, when the Ottomans made their most determined attempt to take the island. It's from above, it's a star-shaped fort. I'll show you a photograph I managed to get with the drone. As I was saying to a friend earlier today, if they taught geometry like this in school, I would have been a hell of a lot more invested. The Ottoman Empire and the Maltese always had a tempestuous relationship, political, militarily, and religiously. There was often conflict. In 1551 there was a serious attempt to take over Malta, and that failed. It was repelled. But 5 years later, in 1556, the Ottomans returned, and they were determined to finish the job. They arrived with a much larger force. They laid siege to the fort, and this fort had 150 knights guarding it, 600 soldiers, and some armed slaves. They held out for almost a month. At the end of the day, the knights died to a man. There wasn't even one left, and the fort was taken. Valletta Bay is actually cut in two by a narrow peninsula. This is the peninsula here, and this is one side of the bay, and the other side of the bay is the other side. Hey, look at this, isn't this? This fort here is Ranella Fort, during World War II, the Germans wanted to be able to freely navigate the Mediterranean, not only themselves but for their allies, the Italians as well. And a thorn on their side was Malta. Malta they couldn't take. So in 1940, the first attack happened in Malta. It was an aerial attack. And I was on this very fort. And they constantly attacked it by air, but they never attempted to attack it by land. Let me think, in 1941 it was, Italians actually attacked with 2 motorboats and frogmen, demolition men. And all the boats were sank and the men were killed. All they managed to do was destroy a bridge that linked the lighthouse to the fort. I'll show you that now in a moment. Here's the only damage caused by the attack by the Italians and their motorboats and the frogmen. You can see that rusty pillar in the middle? That's all that's left of the original bridge that they managed to destroy. But a little bit of a waste considering they all died and their boats were sank for practically nothing. But hey. I am literally melting. Can anybody tell me how the original inhabitants and workers here got through the day without ice pops and aircon and modern materials? I think they were just made out of different stuff, weren't they? You just got on with it. I'm actually after thinking of a story my dad told me, would you believe? My dad was in the Irish Armed Forces for decades. And different days again, you know, back in the 50s. And he told me that if you got sunburnt, it was classed as self-imposed punishment. And there was absolutely no sympathy. So yeah, different rules, huh? Better rules, I think. Let's just be straight about it, huh? Anyway, onwards and upwards. Here I am on the very top of the fort, and you can see it's all concrete. That's a legacy of its World War II usage, holding the Germans off. But I'm after spotting something here. It's like a lookout post. It's all rigged out with radios and, you know, telephones. And the people's job here would have been to keep an eye out for anything approaching from the sea and to raise the alarm. I'll show you now. This is a fire command post. So these would be looking out to sea. Glass is pretty dirty. Basically a watch out area, and if anything is happening, well then, well hello. Well hello there. Yes, fire at will. Across the Grand Harbour from St. Elmo's Fort lies another fort, the Fort of St. Angelo. This fort
served the resistance as a headquarters and a base during the Great Siege of Malta in 1565. During World War II, this fort was garrisoned by the English. It survived an incredible 69 direct hits from both aircraft and artillery from the Italians and the Germans. In the early 80s, there was an attempt to turn this into a hotel, which failed miserably and left the whole building in a sorry state of affairs. The government then stepped in to restore it. This was finished in 2015. Also, if you're wondering about that massive super yacht, I had a look on Google. It's worth €70 million, in case you have any spare change.
And that's St. Elmo's Fort. I wonder did Maltese realise how lucky they are to have this rich history literally on their doorstep.